Hello, hello. Hello. Long time no see. So glad to have you all here with us this evening for the Joy of Living Cooking School. We have lots of good stuff planned for you this evening, and we hope you enjoy. We are trying to make this as safe a place as we possibly can for everybody. So we really appreciate you wearing your masks as long as long as you're close to someone else. It's very important. The COVID going around may be a milder one, but it's still not fun. So we want to stay as safe as possible. According to the guidelines we've been given, that I can be 12 feet away from someone and not have to wear a mask. So is that okay with you, me up here without a mask? Because I'm more than 12 feet from anyone else. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. So just wanted to make sure that was okay with you. So it's good to be here with you this evening. There's lots of you here, and it's just delightful, wonderful. My name is Chris. I'm your hostess for the evening. And of course, our housekeeping items. We have the restrooms for you if you go down the hall and around the corner, and back in here, back in the back, whenever you need to. We also have a resource table with recipes that we've done on past programs. Feel free to take a look over there and see if there's anything that interests you in that and those stacks over there, as well as some other helpful handouts and materials for you beyond that. So, without further ado, we'll start with our devotional because we always want to invite the Lord to be with us. Leanne, come on up.
Welcome. I'm so glad everyone's here. I get so excited at the third Saturday of the month, and we get to meet new people, and old friends come and attend, and I just bubble over. I can't help myself. So welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Happy New Year. Hope your holidays were wonderful, and so much to look forward to this year, right? We don't know, do we? So I had someone give me this little book. It's from Ellen G. White, and it's just a few of her quotations in regards to herbs. It's called Herbs for Health. And I found some interesting little tidbits in here. And here's a quote from her letter number 1898. This is God's method. The herbs that grow for the benefit of man and the little handful of herbs kept and steeped and used for sudden ailments have served tenfold, yes, 100-fold better purposes than all the drugs hidden under mysterious names and dealt out to the sick. So most of us have had prescriptions in the past, right? And their names are typically about this long, but most of them have derivatives to natural resources, to herbs and roots and things from the wild. And they've been transposed into chemicals and boiled down into something unrecognizable. God had a plan for us. He knew that once sin entered the world, we would experience illness and injury and decay. But he's made provision for that. And so I'm excited about that. So I just did a quick little Google. Just healing herbs. That's all I came up with. This is from the University of Rochester Medical Center. And they have a list of basic herbs, and I'm going to say most of us have heard of these. Chamomile. Chamomile? Who knows what that's used for? Chamomile? Yes, thank you, Karen. Who knows what that's used for? Real loud? Yeah, it's a relaxant. So it is used, a lot of people use it as a cure-all. And it's for relaxation and anti-anxiety. And so sorry, Jeremy. So Do you know, the youth of today, the young people of today have so many anxiety disorders, and they struggle with it. Now, when I was a kid and feeling anxious, I was told to go outside and play. And if I was feeling depressed, I was told to go outside and play. And so I think there's a natural remedy in being outdoors and in the sunshine. Now, for my kids, their cure-all was water. They'd say, "Oh, Mom, I have a headache." And I said, "Oh, drink some water." "Oh, Mom, I'm tired." "Oh, drink some water." "Mom, Andrew's." I said, "Oh, you better drink some water," you know. And so I just felt a good dose of water, internally or externally, did a world of good. Okay, echinacea. Is that right? Yeah, echinacea. Who knows what that's used for? Laura? Yeah, it's commonly treated for the common cold, flu, infections, and wound healing. And then, who has heard of feverfew? And what do you think that's used for? Reduce a fever, that's right. Garlic. It's not just the most delicious thing you've ever tasted. It is also good. It has medicinal purposes. It's an antimicrobial. Antimicrobial. Okay, so it kills bacteria. Cardioprotective. That means it's good for our heart. Anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory properties. So inflammation could be your arthritis is acting up. That means you need to have a nice piece of bread with lots of garlic on it. I went to Weimar College for about 18 months, and I'm not a morning person, but there everybody is a morning person. And I would struggle getting up. And lo and behold, if I was not getting out of bed, my roommate would mince some garlic and put it in a teaspoon and give me a full dose. And this will give you a good jump start, Leanne. So lo and behold, I lingered less in bed. And I think it was because I didn't want the dose of garlic at 7 o'clock in the morning. So, but I love garlic. Okay, ginger, commonly used for nausea or anti-motion sickness. Ginkgo leaf extract is used to treat asthma, bronchitis, fatigue, and tinnitus. So tinnitus is that ringing in your ears. You could use some ginkgo. Ginseng. Who knows what ginseng is used for? It's an aphrodisiac. So those of us here who are looking to get a little frisky, this is it. Get some ginseng in your diet. Okay, golden seal. It's used to treat diarrhea, eye, and skin irritations. I know some women who use golden seal at every opportunity, so it's good stuff. Milk thistle. When I was a kid, I had a wart. I'm trying to think of where it was. But anyway, my grandma sent me out to the yard to get some milk thistle and put on the wart. And milk thistle, it grows in your yard. It looks a lot like dandelion, only they're a spikier leaf. Now, if you're going to go, milk thistle is used for liver conditions, high cholesterol, and it can reduce the growth of cancer cells. We've got healing at our fingertips. So the thing about some of these herbs and natural remedies, you want to be precautious. For instance, dandelion is good for if you're constipated a little bit, and if you suffer with edema or swelling in your ankles, dandelion is great for that. But you don't want to pick dandelion and use it for internal purposes if you know it's been sprayed with, for instance, Roundup. So it's better if you get some of these herbs and natural remedies from health food stores. So there's one on the corner of El Camino. What's that one called? Elliot's. Yeah, you can go in there and they will answer any question you have, and they're a wealth of knowledge. St. John's wort, another antidepressant. Sal palmetto is to treat urinary tract issues. And then valerian root is for sleeplessness and an anti-anxiety. The point is, we don't have to depend on chemicals or the medical field's solution for everything. The Lord has put within our grasp methods and resources that all we have to do is gain the knowledge about them and apply them. And we can look forward to health and vitality and not have to resort to the chemicals. So I just want to encourage you to do that. Will you pray with me? Dear loving Heavenly Father, you are a mighty God, and you thought of everything, and we're just so grateful to you for everything that you've provided for us out in nature, and that it's so easy to access. All we have to do is just do it. Lord, put it in our hearts to gain knowledge and information about ways to care for our bodies, to it's that we can work to its ultimate. Lord, we trust you, we love you, and we thank you. Please bless every person here, strengthen them, encourage them, and bless the meal that's been prepared for us and the hands that have prepared it. Lord, we thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Leanne. That's very good information, but there's so many, and we just need your grandma to come on over and help us out. But yeah, get advice from those who already have studied that, or do some research, and that can be very helpful. Especially the garlic, immune system boosting, and it's you already know how to use it in your food. So there you go. But we are here because we are interested in everyone's health. We want you to live life to the fullest because that's what God created us for. And He gave us all these things to help us live life to the fullest. And you want a balanced lifestyle with all kinds of things in mind. Now you notice up here there's a picture with 3 circles that are overlapping in the middle. And think of those, one circle as your mind, another circle as your body, and the third one as your spirit. All 3 of those are major components of you. And as you take care of one, you also benefit the other 2. So you take care of your body, and you're also taking care of your spirit and your mind. Likewise, you take care of your spirit, it also benefits your mind and your body. Take care of all 3 major aspects, and you will be living a life abundantly. Thomas Carlyle says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." And health is not merely the absence of disease, but the complete state of physical, mental, spiritual, social, and emotional well-being. So take care of all aspects. Here is an acronym to help you remember 8 key pieces to a well-balanced lifestyle. And that is the word new start. N for nutrition, E for exercise, W for water, S for sunshine, T for temperance, A for air, R for rest, and T for trust in God. Most of those words we use on a regular basis, very familiar with all of them, but temperance, not so much. So just a little definition of that. Temperance is where you want to avoid the bad things altogether and use good things in moderation. Keep those things in mind. Now, we do want to show you a couple of demonstrations this evening, And tonight's demonstrations will be both be chili recipes. And Gary is our presenter this evening, and as I put these in the slides, as he gave them to me earlier in the week, and tonight he walked in the door and he says, "Chris, can I change the order?" I said, "Well, you can, but I can't." So he's going to tell us what he's going to demonstrate here as the first one. I think it's the other one.
Let me flip a coin. It is the other one.
Welcome, Gary.
Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Thanks for coming in. So, yeah, I had some logistic issues, so we're going to go with the Hearty chili first, and we'll close with the lentil chili later. I hope that doesn't devastate anyone. Going, no, I wanted the lentil recipe first. You are so unfair and mean. And I would say, are you my child? I don't understand. Okay. All right, so Hearty chili. It's named a couple different things. First off, it's got soy crumbles in it, which is good for your heart and generally good countenance. Ooh, that is making a noise. But also, it's a no-bean chili. So if you, the origins of chili was all meat, and as we went throughout the years, we started adding things to stretch it, and beans are always a favorite, especially for the vegan style, because it's a good protein base. But this one uses tofu crumbles that we are going to make ourselves, which I find quite yummy. In fact, I was sneaking way too many of them while working on the recipe. I had to make a new batch because I was eating them all. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our chili base. And for that, we're going to go ahead and saute some aromatics. In this case, we're going to do some onions and garlic. Now, we are going to do what's called dry frying. That is cooking without oil. You can do it. It takes a little more effort, takes a little more energy, but you can get very similar results instead of using the extra added empty calories of oil. So what you want to do is you want to get your pot nice and hot. And the way to tell if it's hot, we're going to go ahead and take a droplet of water. And ooh, they start dancing around. We're ready to go. So we're going to add our onion. And the key to this is to keep it moving. And then we're going to also use a little bit of water as necessary to keep things from sticking. So just a couple drops at a time. Because the steam is what's going to lift the onion off of the bottom. And we're going to do this for a couple minutes. We want the onions to soften and take on a little bit of a golden color. We're not going for dark caramelization, which is a brown, deep brown color. Which is where the heat actually cooks the sugars inside. Okay. And of course, heat control, you can always take it off. That's always a good way to go. Because I've been there, oh my word, it's burning, it's burning. Well, take it off, it's okay. All right. So, and these electric cooktops are great. They really transfer a lot of energy. All right. Okay, so we've got a little bit of color. Now we're done with that, we're going to add our garlic. Now garlic cooks very quickly, so we're only going to do this for about 30 seconds or until we can smell the garlic. All right, and that's it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our tomatoes and pour that in. That's going to stop the cooking, so that way it protects our garlic from burning, because garlic baked, slow roasted, sauteed, even caramel, we put in caramel and sugar and deep fried are delicious. Burnt garlic, not so much. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, add a little bit of agave. That cuts through some of the acrid parts of the chili. And then this is a special chili spice and then some smoked paprika. The chili spice recipe, it's called chili seasoning. It's on the back side. It's actually what they use up at the New Start program in place of chili powder. With New Start, we advocate not using chilies and other irritants because it puts added stress on the body, and it doesn't allow the body to do what it needs to do. So if it's fighting against the additives and the irritants you're putting in, you're kind of working against the healthy foods you're trying to use. And this is a pretty good substitute. I was quite shocked when I went up and attended because I said, "Oh, this actually is pretty tasty." It doesn't taste like chili powder, but it kind of mimics it in ways. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set this to the side and let it come to a boil, and we're going to reduce it to a simmer. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and prep our tofu. So we're going to start with nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is great stuff. It's generally used as a way to give an extra kind of meaty flavor or a cheesy type of flavor to things. So like people use it in place of Parmesan cheese or use it to supplement vegetables to kind of give it a meaty taste. And that's what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and give kind of a meat-like taste to the tofu. And the liquid was amino acids, which is a substitute for soy. We prefer it over soy sauce because soy sauce is fermented, and fermentation is another cooking process that we choose not to use as part of the New Start program. Okay, so we do this up until it's a nice thick paste. Okay. And then we're going to take some firm tofu. This is extra firm. Silken will not work in this case. Soft will not work. Medium firm will not work. You need to go with the extra firm because we are going to have fun and play with our food. We're literally going to just crumble it. Okay, I don't know if you've ever gone to look in the freezer section or gone to a health food store and seen soy crumbles. That's basically what we're making, but this is less processed and I think pretty darn good. You want various sizes, some bigger than others, some kind of small. Some, get your frustrations out and just, Arr. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and coat this. I could use a spoon, but I did not grab a spoon, so God provides all things. Our hand will work just fine. And so we're just going to go ahead and get this nice and coated. Breaking up any of the super big pieces that we missed the first time. So everything is a nice brownish color. Okay. All right. We've got an oven set for 350 degrees. And take a cookie sheet, line it with parchment paper or foil. I like parchment paper myself, which is a non-stick paper that you can use in your oven up to about 450 degrees. And it makes cleanup so much easier. It starts to smoke and char around the edges. And at about 500, you may have a mini fire. Great question. Okay. And so we're going to take this and spread it out. We're going to put this in the oven to toast it and dry it out a little bit. So we don't want them to be on top of each other. We want to go ahead and spread it out nicely. Okay. That'll go in the oven for 45 minutes. You'll want to stir it about every 10 minutes or so to move things around, to get everything nice and evenly browned. And this is what you're going to end up with. So you've got some larger pieces that are kind of spongy, and you've got smaller pieces that are nice and crispy. And again, this isn't a bad snack in and of itself. Yes? The question is it better to hand crumble it than to run it through a food processor? I believe so. I believe the blade of the food processor would make it into a paste, which, if that's what you prefer, then great. This kind of gives you a variety of texture and mouthfeel. So that's why I prefer the hand method. But that's an outstanding question. So our chili base has been cooking. We started this first. It'll cook for about an hour until it's nice and thick. And then we'll pull it, and we're ready to go. Okay. See how it thickened up and cooked down? You can add a little bit of water if you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead and add our crumbles. There's another reason I like the parchment paper. I can just pick the whole thing up and pour it in. That's less of a chance of me getting it on the ground or in my lap. The dog prefers it when I don't use this, but all right. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and stir to combine. And then we're going to go ahead and heat it for about 5 minutes, just until everything kind of combines a little bit and the flavors can go. And we have some samples that will be coming out in just a moment. This is a dish you want to go ahead and serve warm or hot. A side of cornbread's nice, or maybe like a cashew sour cream or soy sour cream. Maybe a nice little fresh salad on the side. And that is our chili. I think I will add a little water.
What'd the kids say when you had them try it?
Actually, it was kind of funny because I made my demo earlier and had to go out and run an errand. And my 23-year-old called me with the sweetest voice.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Dad. Yes, Destiny. How are you, Dad? What do you want, Destiny? Well, what's the stuff on the stove? I said, all right, you can have a bowl, but please, I need it for the samples. She was quite happy. I think she took 2 bowls, to be honest with you. But okay, any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Yes?
Are we supposed to eat this by hand or
Oh, what happened was, thankfully, a bounty of riches, we had so many people come that we did not, that row was actually extra, so we'll get you taken care of, Karen. I promise. But, hey, Northern Africa, yeah, fingers are great.
Well, it's a little
Ethiopia?
cup. You can just. It's thick?
It is thick. Yes.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, I heard it and it's good. That's a plus. Thank you.
Yeah. Not too spicy.
No, that's why I said, okay. See some headshot and eye. Okay.
No.
Any questions, thoughts? Yes. Oh, yay! That's always good. Your first recipe would be a good one. Yes, Linda. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? The whole recipe takes about an hour to hour 15 minutes from start to finish. All right. Any questions, thoughts? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Gary. All righty.
Thanks.
So we also want to introduce you, we've introduced you to the New Start a little bit, also want to introduce you to the acronym for CREATION. And that stands for choice, rest, environment, activity, trust, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. So you can see some overlap and duplication there between those 2 acronyms, but both very helpful in taking care of your health. Choice is the first step towards improved health, making the choice, right? Rest is taking time to relax, also sleep as well. Environment is everything that surrounds you. Activity, getting out and moving more. Trust is your faith and belief in God. Interpersonal relationships, people, are essential to your well-being. Outlook, living happier can make you live longer. And nutrition, of course, what we've been demonstrating here, the fuel that drives your whole system. Tonight we're talking about activity. And it helps to unlock your reservoir of vitality. And Jeremy, We have we have a video to show you about this activity here. And one of our technology challenges is that my phone was not playing it very well earlier, so we've enlisted another phone. So, but he didn't know where it was in the lineup, so just wait a moment here and we will get that set up for you.
We were created to move, and when we do, it's a remarkable thing because we are powerful, beautiful, and graceful, for we are gracefully and wonderfully made. But physical activity isn't just for the pros, it's for all of us. It's for anyone who wants to feel fully alive and thoroughly happy. Activity is the rhythm of life. Activity is the fountain of youth. And exercising our bodies and minds slows the effects of aging and keeps us young at heart, unlocking life's greatest pleasures. During this Creation Health presentation on activity, we'll hear about the physical and mental benefits of activity. You'll learn how you can have more energy and less stress. Do you want to feel more fully alive? Then let's join Dr. George Guthrie as he reveals some easy ways for us to work our bodies and minds so we can enjoy lifelong health and happiness.
Movement is life. As Kenneth Cooper likes to say, it's easier to maintain your health than regain it. He's absolutely right. Activity activates growth processes in our body and mind that keep us young mentally and physically. The good news is that recent research suggests we don't have to spend countless hours in the gym to become healthy and fit. And some of the most exciting studies deal with the effect of activity on the brain. The bottom line is that if you want to be dynamic, have more energy, and feel more alive, then you have to start moving because motion has life-sustaining benefits. Let's continue this Creation Health presentation on activity by looking at some landmark research involving the mind. The adult brain can actually grow in response to regular demands placed on it. Until recently, we thought this impossible. As it turns out, exercising the mind is much like exercising the body. Just as physical activity keeps our bodies fit, mental activity keeps our brains fit. In fact, mental activity actually changes the brain's structure. In one study, the hippocampal area in the brains of London taxi drivers was measured with an MRI. The hippocampus is the part of the brain involved with memory. The results showed that persons with intensive spatial training, such as taxi drivers, had more hippocampal gray matter than other normal people. This part of the brain was enlarged in the taxi drivers because they used it extensively every day. Mental activity optimizes brain performance. But the opposite is also true. Unused brain cells die. Use it or lose it seems to be one of life's immutable laws. So what's our takeaway from all of this? It's important to regularly exercise our brain in order to build a better, stronger mind. Brain-building exercises include doing puzzles, learning new languages, increasing your vocabulary, and even practicing a task with your non-dominant hand. Learning any new physical skill such as snowboarding, snorkeling, or even driving a car with a stick shift also exercises brain cells. One of my favorite ways to keep my mind fit and growing is to read the Bible. I'm not talking about just reading the words, I'm talking about reading to understand and apply what's being taught, to wrestle with the divinely inspired truth to see how it applies to my life today. Take time to memorize a Bible text every now and then. Reading the Bible and memorizing scriptures are some of the best brain-building exercises. In order to keep our brains active, it's important that it gets the right fuel at the right time. You may think we're getting a little off track here as we talk about how certain nutrients affect our brains, but bear with me. The key role nutrition plays is a vital part of our discussion on activity and is worth reviewing here. For effective mental activity, your brain needs a steady supply of glucose, its primary fuel source. The best way to get this is to start each day with a healthy breakfast. It is important for learning, memory, and physical well-being in children and adults. Scientists have discovered that breakfast eaters demonstrate more efficient problem solving, have increased verbal fluency, have an improved attention span, and school children who eat breakfast showed better attitudes and grades. The best breakfast is one that has foods with a low glycemic index. If that's a new term for you, the glycemic index is a measure of just how quickly carbohydrates are absorbed into our body and converted to blood sugar. Scientists measure how fast and high 100 grams of plain sugar or 100 grams of plain white bread raise the blood sugar in the body. These foods are used as a standard and represent 100%. Other foods are then compared to the standard and given a percentage rating. Broccoli or spinach would have a low glycemic index rating, while soda, French fries, or ice cream would have higher ratings. In general, we can say that the lower the glycemic index, the better a food is for our bodies and our brains. It is better when energy comes into our body slowly, over time, rather than rushing in like a tidal wave. It's much easier to handle, and it's healthier too. Let's get back to the breakfast experience. Even though bowls of oatmeal and sugary cereals have a similar number of carbohydrates, they have different glycemic index measures. The sugary cereal gets into your body quickly, peaking sugar levels, and then drops dramatically after about 2 hours. This releases hormones that negatively affect your mood, concentration, and memory, as well as making it easier to gain weight. Oatmeal, however, is absorbed more slowly, giving you a slow rise in blood sugar. That provides steady fuel until lunchtime. In a scientific study done in 2006, looking at students who ate sweetened oatmeal compared with those who ate high sugar cereal, the oatmeal eaters performed 20% better in school. It is important to note that both cereals had the same sugar content, but oatmeal had more fiber and protein, giving it a lower glycemic index. Similar studies have demonstrated that people who eat a low glycemic breakfast of oatmeal actually choose to eat about 30% fewer calories throughout the rest of the day. This makes it easier to keep a person's weight where it should be. So get healthier by simply beginning the day with breakfast, preferably one with a low glycemic index. When choosing your food, remember this basic principle. The closer our food is to the way God made it, the healthier it will be. We've talked about optimizing our brain through mental activity and fueling it regularly with a steady stream of energy. But your brain needs more to function optimally. It requires large amounts of oxygen. Physical activity provides the brain with extra oxygen. It shouldn't surprise you to learn that older individuals who exercised scored higher on intelligence tests than more sedentary people of the same age. And they were able to complete the tasks faster too. In another study, we discovered that after exercising, elderly subjects had a greater improvement in 6 of 8 measures of cognitive or brain functioning. Research shows children who take time for daily physical activity perform better in reading, language, and on test taking. Physically active college students also score better on tests and exhibit better short-term memory than inactive students. When you exercise your body, you're not just helping your heart, lungs, and muscles, you're helping your brain too. Let's summarize what we've learned about the mind. The brain grows in response to regular mental activities. We fuel our brains with glucose, starting each day with a low glycemic breakfast. And then we flood our brains with oxygen through a variety of physical activities. Altogether, these things will optimize your brain performance, quickly improving your mood, emotions, and body. It all adds up to a big boost for your health. We've explored building a stronger mind. Now let's talk about building a stronger body. What do you picture when you hear the term strength training? Bulky muscles, countless hours in the gym, diet shakes, expensive supplements. You don't have to go to a gym to enjoy the benefits of strength training. By committing only minutes a week, you can have many of the benefits. You probably already know that strength training reduces symptoms associated with diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis, and even depression. Science is finding more and more evidence each year proving that strength training is vital to a longer, healthier life. Some researchers say strength training is the best anti-aging strategy we have. Consider this research by Miriam Nelson. The results were published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. After strength training twice weekly for a year, women's bodies were physically 15 to 20 years more youthful. In this study, they didn't use drugs. Women regained bone. They became stronger, in most cases, even stronger than when they were younger. And their flexibility and balance improved. Get this, without changing what they ate, they became leaner and trimmer and 27% more active. These benefits apply to men as well. You have significant control over your health. You have the power to improve it. Here's something to think about. It is estimated that 1/3 of the heart attacks among middle-aged women in the United States are attributed to physical inactivity. Think of it this way. Picture a row of dominoes set up on end. The first domino is muscle mass, which is closely linked to strength training. A loss of muscle mass starts with the fall of the first domino. What follows is system-wide failure, the domino effect. But then consider this. If you start incorporating strength training into your life only twice a week, guess what happens? You can reverse the domino effect. When the first domino stands up strong, the others rise to join it. That's how much power you have. Do 8 to 10 slow, dynamic strength training exercises involving each of your major muscle groups. You don't need very heavy weights. Often, 1 or 2 pounds is enough when starting. Use enough of resistance to slowly do 8 to 12 repetitions to near fatigue. That is, just a little bit of burn on just the last repetition. You actually get more benefit from slowly lowering the weight than from the lifting. If the muscle burns earlier, you're using too much weight. If you're older and more frail, do 10 to 15 repetitions with less weight. After a couple of weeks, you will find it gets easier and you'll want to increase the weights slightly. Do a minimum of 1 set for each muscle group. 2 sets are better. Do this at least twice a week. You could get help from a personal trainer or visit the website of the American College of Sports Medicine, or purchase a copy of Miriam Nelson's book, Strong Women Stay Young. It's easy to do these strength training exercises at home. To reverse the aging process, to feel younger and to be more energetic and healthy, start now. Make a decision to get started, accept no excuses, just do it. Why? It's estimated 250,000 deaths a year in the United States are attributed to a lack of regular physical activity. That's roughly the same number of people that live in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. To put it another way, if people simply started exercising, 250,000 lives could be saved each year. There's another type of exercise that's critical to good health as well: cardiovascular exercise. While strength training focuses on making muscles stronger, cardiovascular exercise focuses on strengthening the system that delivers energy and oxygen to the muscles. This occurs when a person exercises enough to make the heart, lungs, and blood vessels stretch to supply enough oxygen to keep the muscles going. This means that the breathing is deeper and more rapid, that the heart rate goes up, and the blood vessels open up to let more blood through to the muscles. Cardiovascular exercise protects against the debilitating diseases of coronary heart disease and cancer. It decreases inflammation in the body, and just like muscle strengthening exercise, improves insulin sensitivity, helping to avoid diabetes. Many people think they have to spend hours running, walking, or jogging to be healthy, but it's not true. In 2007, the American College of Sports Medicine and the Centers for Disease Control jointly issued national guidelines for physical activity, stating that adults should accumulate 30 minutes or more of moderate intensity physical activity daily. Let's focus on two important terms from that sentence. Number one, accumulate. This means you can break up your activity into 3 10-minute segments or into 2 15-minute sessions, if it works better for you. When researchers evaluated 2 groups of people, one group exercising continuously for 30 minutes and the other exercising 3 separate times, 10 minutes each, they found that the multiple short bouts of exercise produced the same improvement in fitness level. The second term is moderate intensity. Moderate intensity is exercising at a level that burns about 200 calories a day, or is equivalent to walking a mile in about 20 minutes. That's not too fast. Another way to measure this is with the talk test. Here's how that works. If you're walking and you have to take a breath 2 or 3 times in the middle of a sentence, then you're going at about the right intensity. A person could easily experience the protective benefits of physical activity by walking 15 minutes each morning and evening. Isn't it good to discover that any regular, moderate exercise is going to be beneficial? Start today accumulating 30 minutes of moderate activity. This might be a mix of several things: a 10-minute walk, mowing the lawn, washing the car, or even playing with your children. These little lifestyle changes help to keep us young in body and mind and help to reverse the domino effect of aging. Each of us chooses our own lifestyle. Not deciding is deciding. I suggest that you choose what makes you fully alive and keeps you active, both physically and mentally.
So there we have it. There's no magic pill or special secret. According to Dr. Kenneth Cooper, we do not stop exercising because we grow old. We grow old because we stop exercising. You can reverse the aging process and have a younger and healthier body. Start with these 3 steps. Strength train twice a week, accumulate 30 minutes of moderate physical exercise each day, and exercise your brain. Follow this plan, you'll look younger, feel better, and have more energy. But most of all, you'll enjoy living and have more time with the ones you love. That's creation health.
Okay, so you all pumped and ready to go? Gonna get active? It's good for you. Movement is life. We were made for motion. Mental and physical activity. Activity includes both. We tend to think of exercise as just physical, but it's for your mind as well. So, how would you like to do a little mind activities this evening? You know, to benefit your mind, you must have a purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. Helps your mind. Work is a good thing. A schedule. It loves a schedule, but it also needs you to rest, exercise, and exercising your body, but also your mind. But how about some games? You like to play games or do puzzles, reading, memory activities? How about some brain teasers? Yeah? So, what did the hat say to the scarf? She's laughing already. I like her. I got you covered? Oh, that's good. That's not what I'm looking for, but that's good. I like that. Ready? You go around while I go on ahead. All right. And laughter is very good medicine, so go right ahead. Here's another one for you. How do you warm up a room after it's been painted? Ready? Give it a second coat. Okay. What do you get when you cross a fish with an elephant? Say it again.
A scaly trunk?
Scaly trunk? No. You might, but that wasn't what I was.
A fish with a trunk?
Fish with a trunk? Swimming trunks. Okay. What happens when you tell an egg a joke? It cracks. Okay. Okay. Enough with we're ready for Gary again, aren't we? Next chili recipe, please.
All right, so this is our lentil chili. This chili is nice and healthy. It's got lentils. It's got quinoa. It's got beans, so you're getting plenty of good proteins, nice healthy proteins in there as well. So this is a pretty simple Instant Pot version or a slow cooker version. It's a dump and go recipe, so we will go ahead and do that. So first thing we're going to do is just going to talk about, since I have lots of new faces, just talk about how to cut things and knife safety, because it's very important. Not everybody pays attention to what you need to do in order to have a safe workplace. So the very first thing is you want your knife to be sharp. That sounds counterintuitive. I don't want to cut myself, so I want my knife to be really, really sharp. The reason is that the sharper your knife is, the less force you have to use to cut through your objects. The less force you have, the more control you have. You're less likely to slip and cause an accident. The next thing is you always want to think stable. I want things to be stable. So I'm taking a piece of paper towel and I just wet it lightly, and I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to use my cutting board. So my cutting board right now moves all over the place. This is not stable. If I'm doing it while I'm cutting, I could have a very bad day. Simple little piece of paper towel with a little bit of water. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm safe. Okay, so we're going to start this recipe with some onion and bell pepper. So whenever I'm cutting produce, I like having a refuse bowl. So this is where all my trash is going to go. It saves me from getting up and going to the trash can or spilling on the ground. We're going to go and start with our onion. This is round. This is not stable. So anytime you're going to cut something, you want to think about, where can I get flat surfaces to make it stable? We're going to cut this end off here, the flowering end. We're going to leave the fuzzy, hairy end on. So we're going to go ahead and cut this flat. Okay. Now I have a flat surface with which I can work. Okay. I'm going to go right through the middle. Okay. Generally with onions, you want to go ahead and take your first layer of skin off, because sometimes that top layer that you think is going to be good when you start, by the time you get back, it turns out there's another brown spot. So, okay. that off and take that off. Okay. Okay. A lot of people will use a knife to scrape things up. I like using a bench scraper or a pastry scraper because I don't care how good you are, you run the risk of cutting yourself with your knife when you pick things up. And I'm not going to lie, I do that too sometimes at home. So when you're going to dice an onion, we're going to go ahead and start with some vertical cuts. And then we're going to do a horizontal cut. And then we're going to chop down. So basically the size of your dice depends on where your cuts are. We're going to go with kind of a large dice here. Okay, and then we'll go with just one across here. And we'll cut. Now knives are designed to go in multiple directions, so you don't want to push straight down. When I go, I kind of move forward and down at the same time. And of course, you want to keep your fingers as far away from there as you can. Okay. All right. Now I turn my knuckles under so that my knife will never get my fingertips. I'll push up against the knuckles. So I'll go ahead and line the knuckle up where I want the cut to go, and then put the knife right up against there. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. And transfer this to our Instant Pot. Okay. So that's one onion with a large dice. We're going to do one red bell pepper. And this is relatively stable. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the flesh off on the outside. So we're just going to go around, and we'll leave the seeds and the membrane intact. The seeds are not very palatable, and the membrane is sour, so we don't want that. All right. We just want the fruity part of this fruit. And yes, it is technically a fruit. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and cut into strips. Now when cutting, you want everything to be about the uniform size. Some people like it because it's pretty, but more importantly, it's so things cook at the same time. So if you have one really, really huge piece and one small piece, by the time your huge piece is properly done, your small piece will be mush, or vice versa. Well, I guess not vice versa. Technically, your small piece will be done, and your hard piece will, your big piece will still be hard. All right. I know, so much fun. But food prep can be peaceful, just kind of sitting here by yourself or having a nice conversation with a friend or a spouse. Or if you can sucker them into doing your cutting for you, that's even better. Yes, and so if the knife isn't in your hand, then it's flat somewhere. All right. Okay. So that's all the veg that we have for this one. Pretty straightforward. We're going to go ahead and add some beans that have been rinsed and drained. Some crushed tomato. A little bit of tomato paste. That adds an extra deep tomato flavor and a little bit of body. A little bit of garlic, a little bit of oregano. And then we've got some quinoa. I chose red just because I thought red going with chili, it's a good thing, but you can use any color. It's rinsed just because some of the dust from the factory and the processing can be an issue. Plus, it can be a little bitter if you don't rinse the quinoa. And then these are some brown lentils. Couldn't remember if I got green or brown. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and add in a quart of stock. This is low sodium vegetable stock. You can make your own, which is great, but this is store-bought. Shh. All right. A little impatient today. Okay. There we go. You want to give this a big stir, a good stir to make sure that mostly everything gets coated, but you want to make sure there are no dry spots on the bottom because that could tend to burn when it goes through the processing. Okay. Put on your lid, start your timer for 7 minutes on high pressure. Once the timer goes off, you can let it sit by itself for 10 more minutes and let the pressure naturally reduce. After that 10 minutes, you'll go ahead and let the pressure out, and we are ready for samples. And go from there. Now, I mentioned vegetable stock. If you are very inclined to make your own stock, this is great. So using these leavings, putting them in a bag and putting them in the freezer, just accumulating them, is great. The onion skin, the little bit of flesh from the pepper, just a variety of peppers, tops from carrots, potato peels, those kind of things can all add a lot of flavor to a vegetable stock if you're going to make it from scratch. Or if you compost is a great way to go. I'm just saying it does not have to go in the trash. And once the 10 minutes are up, you go ahead and stir it up, adjust seasoning, and you're ready to serve. This is a looser chili. It's kind of a cross between a soup and a chili. But yeah, it's hearty because the lentils and the quinoa gives it a nice body.
And that's by adding the quinoa with the grain, you have a complete
protein.
meal.
Yep, a complete protein.
Here,
Yeah.
all in one. You just add a little fresh salad. Maybe not so little.
Yes, we're advocates of big salads here. Oh, yay. Yes.
Would the orange lentils work just as well?
The question is, would the orange lentils work just as well? I think my personal opinion is that the orange and the red get a little too mushy, where the brown and the green tend to hold their texture a little more. If that's your preference, that'd be good, but I wouldn't recommend cooking this less than the 7 minutes because getting the canned flavor out of the beans and the canned tomatoes. Now, if you used all fresh ingredients, you probably could get away with the red and maybe do this in 5 minutes on the pressure cooker. There's also a slow cooker adaptation. Put in your slow cooker before you go to work. Just add 2 extra cups of water to it, put it on low, and let it go for 8 hours, and you'll get very similar results.
And lentils don't get mushy in those 8 hours?
I have not personally tested it.
Okay.
That was what the original recipe I borrowed this from had said. So
Okay,
that's a great
okay.
question. Somebody let me know if you get mushy at the doing the long term. Okay. Recommend doing the brown. Yes.
Trader Joe's has the brown lentils already cooked.
Okay.
They're very reasonable.
Okay. So the comment was that Trader Joe's has brown lentils pre-cooked. So, and they're very reasonably priced and easy to use, I take?
Yeah, it's really something, they're really compact when you open it up.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check that out. Thank you.
And they have rice already,
Frozen rice all ready to go?
brown rice and
Okay.
frozen.
Well, I have not been to Trader Joe's in a while. I'm not going to lie. The pandemic lines got too crazy for me to wait in, so well, then I will be back. They are in trouble. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Yes. It's good. Okay, I'll take it's good any day of the week. We like that.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, Gary.
Well, thank you much.
All right, so we've been talking about taking care of your body. Breathing is a good idea, right? Nice deep breath, not these shallow ones. Nice and deep breathing. Sunshine is excellent for you. that vitamin D you can get from the sunshine. And then, of course, water, taking in water as well as using it to wash is very beneficial. Good night. Thank you. Nutrition, obviously, we've been talking about that a little bit. Rest. You want to rest. You want to get a good night's sleep every night. Take breaks during the day. A weekly Sabbath as well. Very beneficial. Yes, in the back. All right. So, as far as exercise goes, we've heard a lot about that tonight. But just do something. Start where you're at. Don't overnight try to, do too much. You got to work your way up. And anything that we recommend, that's what you want to do. You want to work your way up slowly from where you are and gradually increase it. And then your body has time to adjust to the changes that you're making. You've been doing things the same way for a little while, so it just needs a little time to adjust. We do recommend the full plate diet, and those of you who got the little booklet, the last page in there is about the full plate diet. You can also go online and look that up. And basically, this is the idea of you do not need to starve yourself to lose weight. Just fill your plate with dietary fiber. And eating that foods with dietary fiber makes you feel full and satisfied. And then you'll eat fewer calories. And when you consume fewer calories than you burn, then you lose weight. And by eating that fiber, also all kinds of benefits for your body. It's immune boosting, which is especially important these days, right? But it also fights all kinds of diseases. That right there, more fiber in your diet. But once again, start where you're at and work your way up slowly. Change how you do things. But in general, here's a graphic of what your plate can look like, divided into 4 quadrants. And, half of it is your fruits and vegetables. A quarter is legumes for your proteins. And then there's a quarter for your grains. There is a handout that shows this as well and gives some more information on that. Looks like most of them are gone. But you can always look this up online as well. The Power Plate, it has a few other, quite a few little hints and tips and suggestions on that as well. And you know that the best department in your grocery store is the Department of Defense, otherwise known as produce, right? And have you ever counted how many different products there are in the produce department? There are lots of different things. And if you haven't tried everything, take one at a time and maybe try something new. The variety of colors are wonderful. And you know what? Each one of those colors has a different nutrient that's associated with it. So to get your broad spectrum of nutrients, you want to be eating the rainbow. And, you think about the different colors on the different produce, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And something I learned from my mom from very young is that when you cook a vegetable, it has a different nutrient composition than when it was fresh, right? So you may want to cook them and get certain nutrients out of them, but also incorporate something fresh with your meal as well to get those kind of nutrients. Just little things helps you get what you need. Now, drinking your water. Dr. Mark Reeves says drink at least 5 glasses of water every day to lower your risk for heart disease. Now, once again, if you are accustomed to drinking only 1 or 2 cups of water, do not jump to 5 overnight. Work your way up. But ultimately, your body needs more like 8, possibly even 10, depending on your activity level, your body composition, and those kind of things. Upon rising, you've basically been on a fast overnight. Breakfast, absolutely. You want to eat a good breakfast when you get up. But before you do, first thing when you get up, drink 2 cups of water. It kickstarts your juices flowing back after that fast overnight. But generally speaking, you want to avoid drinking with your meals because it dilutes the digestive juices, and it also makes your food float. And when your food floats, it causes heartburn and acid reflux problems at times. So those are things you can keep in mind. Avoid drinking with your meals, if at all possible. You want to stop drinking about a half hour before eating, and then wait 2 hours to start drinking again. So it gives your stomach a chance to get into the digestive process of digesting that food that you've given it. And then for the rest of the day, drink a few sips at a time. The general idea is that you definitely want to replace the fluid that you're losing when your eyes use fluid. When you blink, you lose fluid when you breathe and talk, and among other things that don't necessarily need to be mentioned. But you need to replace that fluid in order to keep everything flowing. So, but your body can only absorb and replace a little bit at a time. So that's why you want to do a little bit and spread it out. There are ways to help you. Remember to drink 8. Fill your water bottles ahead of time. Have them handy when you're ready to. If you get hungry in between meals, drink, because that's probably what your body is telling you it needs. You can make lists of all of the good things that it's going to do for you. If you're not a real big fan of plain water, add something to it, like a lemon, cucumber, peppermint leaves, something else, to help make it taste a little bit better. Hot water, I like the hot water first thing in the morning. That is soothing to me. You can always, in any of these activities, you can ask a friend to help you be accountable for what your changes are that you're trying to accomplish. And you know what? You could ask your boss to bring in filtered water. It's better a lot of times than the city water. But definitely make your choices, and as you make these changes, you will become conditioned, and it will be automatic. Now, you're talking about the mind and the body quite a bit, but you also need to be taking care of your spirit. The influence of the Spirit of God is the very best medicine for disease. Heaven is all health. Now, parts of taking care of your spirit could be socialization with other people, studying the Word of God, prayer, and trust in the Lord with all your heart. And just a little article I have here about your spirit. Here's a little story. A man once dreamed that he stood before the judgment bar of God. He said that in his dream he heard God ask him, "Have you ever been dishonest?" The man hung his head and replied, "Yes." "Have you ever spoken angry words?" "Yes." "Have you ever harbored impure thoughts?" "Yes." As God continued through his long list of questions, the man had to say yes to each one. When God had finished with his questions, the man bowed his head and waited for his sentence. But then he became conscious of a light in front of him. "I looked up, and I saw a man's face," he said. "It was more lovely than any face I have ever seen. Then I looked at his hands and saw the marks, and I understood who he was." The man said, "Father, this man has confessed each of his sins and has accepted my forgiveness for each one. He stood for me down in the world, and I will stand for him here." And God said, "Acquitted. Welcome to my kingdom." The insights of the wisest man that ever lived are recorded in Ecclesiastes 12, 13, and 14 in the Bible. let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. But he is there for us and will support us all the time. Trust in the Lord. And in Matthew 11:28, he invites us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And rest sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Take care of your spirit. The video was used by permission from Creation Life. You can go and visit them out on the web there. Those of you who are joining us online, you can enter the prize drawing. Just leave a comment or email us at office@woodsidesda.org. And I want to invite the team to the front to join me for the closing. But just so you know, other activities that we have going on this campus on a regular basis, every Saturday we have Bible study at 9:30 a.m. and then our worship hour starts at 11. And looking ahead to next month, our Joy of Living Cooking School will be on February 19, and our recipe theme is Peachy Keen. And maybe Gary can tell us a little bit more about that, but it's all about peaches.
Yes. So we only do one dessert a year, and so I got to be selfish. Peaches are my favorite fruit, so we're doing dishes that you can make with frozen peaches. This is me being self-serving for a change.
Very good.
But it gets you ready for the summer, so it's like, okay, when the fresh peaches are in, then we can go there.
Yes.
We're ready. Yeah.
Awesome. I love peaches too. And then I didn't list it here, but in a couple of weeks, if you're not thinking healthfully, we are going to have a pie auction in this room. It's a fundraising activity for our kids, and you're all welcome to join us. January 29, don't remember exactly the time, 6 or 6:30, but if you go out to the website, it can tell you. It's always an excellent, and there's a talent show to go along with it, so it's always a very fun evening. Come out and join us, and then we will share the pies, usually after the fact. Yeah, that's true. To get in the building, you have to bring a pie. It's your entry fee. So, just to introduce you to the team, if you haven't met them already. Karen here on the far side there for us, and then little Sarah in Annie's arms, and Jeremy with Araya in his arms. And then this is Leanne, and Anne, and Lenore, and Gary. And I'm Chris. Would you help me thank the team for all their hard work? Hey, it takes a little bit of effort to put all those things together. So, Leanne, would you? Do I sing first?
Shall we sing first?
Do we sing first? Or yeah, we sing first. Sorry, I forgot. I forgot in the order of things. We want to send you off with a song in your heart. So feel free to sing along if you know it. He hath shown thee, O man, what is good. And what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God.
Dear loving Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your love, your goodness, your grace, your patience, and your abundant mercy. Father, thank you for the gift of friendship. Thank you for every single person here. Help them to travel home safely and return again next month. Thank you for everyone who has served on this endeavor, and just we want to unite and praise your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. God bless you. Good night. Oh, we would love to talk with you if you'd like to stay off and talk with one of us, but We hope to see you next time around.